crafters, welcome into Guys Craft 2. My name is John. I hope you have had an amazing weekend. It has been busy in the Guys Craft 2 house with lots going on and just trying to catch up and get things done. But you know what? At the end of the day, we make it all happen, don't we? So let's see who is in the chat and what's been going on. I did catch Danielle this morning. I did get to jump into Teresa Louise for a little bit and been around the channel. I did see Russ posted from the quilt show, the Georgia Quilt Show. So I got to see a little bit of that. So we'll see what all's going on. So obviously I moved my camera wrong, but okay, we'll get that set up next time. All right, here's my glasses so I can read the chat. Let's see who's here. Hey, Joydy, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Good afternoon, Mona from down in Tucson and a channel member. Thank you for being here. Danielle's here. Hey, John. She said, I'm running a friend's house, so I'll catch the replay later. Thanks. No problem. Got you. Mona says, having a lazy day, need to do stuff, but just not getting it done. I can kind of relate to that. Sometimes we just need a chill day. Yes, that is so correct. Hey, Judy, welcome in. Thanks for being here this afternoon. Jody goes, I'm not liking the hot weather. Let's see what Phoenix was today so you all can compare. Come on. See if my phone wants to work. Most of the time it doesn't. It usually has a mind of its own. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we were cold today. We were only 99. We didn't even break 100 today. So I think we're doing just fine. Judy says, raining in Georgia and the humidity has arrived. I will say we're going to, so 2 weeks from this past Friday, we will be flying back to South Carolina. So you all will get to see Ava Lynn in a couple of weeks on a live. And I know she'll be excited. She looks forward to that all year, to being on the YouTube and seeing, which means, unfortunately, I've got to go to Quilting at the Beach and buy some fabric because she'll definitely want to be talking about that. But in the past, we've never taken her to the fabric store, so I don't know. We'll see how that works out this year. What else? Judy says, we finally got the grass mowed last week. I think you and I are in the same weather pattern. I tell you what, it was so funny because you do forget about humidity. And I know, as dumb as that sounds, it is just true. And I think it was last year when we went to Myrtle Beach and that they had one of those afternoon storms that they normally have at the beach, right? Just came in, rained as hard as it could for about 20 minutes, and then it just left. But of course, it was just nasty, right? You just see the steam coming off the blacktop and all that. And I'm doing one of these numbers, and my daughter looks over and goes, really? Really? That's what you're And I'm like, honey, you have no idea. She goes, but you're hot all the time. And I'm like, no, we have heat, but it is a dry heat. And there is a big difference. I mean, I just felt wet and nasty the whole time. And it's funny because I grew up right on the East Coast. We lived in South Carolina for 5 years, and I love South Carolina. Not as much as Arizona, but I do like it out there. Let's see what else we are doing. Mona says that's in the summer. I can normally wear shorts year round, just like John. That's the plan. I plan to never, once I retire, you can get rid of everything. If I can't go somewhere in t-shirts, shorts, and flip-flops, I don't need to go. Just the way it's going to be. Hey, Zaza, welcome in. Thanks. I was able to catch Zaza yesterday. That's 2 weeks in a row, if anyone's counting. But I was able to catch her this weekend. That was great. Hey, Brian, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Nikki's here. Welcome in. I'm trying to get caught up, guys. I get off on telling a story and then I forget to check the chat. If I miss you, it is absolutely not on purpose. Please do never take that personal. Hey, Candace, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Mm. Oh, look at my buddy Brendan's here. Mr. Quilter's here. If you've not been over to check his channel out, you should do so. Let me see if I can actually put that in the comments because I don't remember. I think I set him up as Mr. So we'll see if that worked or not. I don't think it did. Did it? No. All right. Who else? There it is. Yep. So exclamation point Mr. Will get you into Brendan's channel. If you've not been over there to check his channel out, you should do so. He does some gorgeous work. He's got a really very talented skill set. Who else is here? Joanne's here. Hey, hello, welcome in. Dawn's here. Hey, Quilt Meets World is here. Hey, Russ, welcome in. Happy Fun Day. Who else? Tasha's here. Hey, Tasha. I saw her on Sean's channel this weekend and then called her in Danielle's channel this morning. Dawn's here. Jean's here. Hey, Jean, welcome in. Thanks for being here this afternoon. Jen's here. Welcome in, Jen. Nikki says, I'm having a lazy day. I can't deal with the heat. It's the soupy humidity here in Missouri. The humidity didn't bother me in Missouri as bad as the bugs did. I just remember you all had the biggest mosquitoes I had ever seen in my life. Hey, Mona did what? The other Mona is here. Welcome in. I did catch a little bit of with her last night, I think it was. She's always, I tell you what, that woman's got a sense of humor. Nikki says, my hair is so freaking curly today. We've had storms roll through a couple of times, and humidity is not curly hair friendly. No, it is not. Hey, sweet granny, welcome in. My granddaughter is 8, so I will be with 2 of my grandchildren. I have 4. I have 2 of each. And it's funny, my son and daughter have 1 of each, right? So my daughter's children are who we will be with. Ava Lynn is 8, and my grandson is 6. And depending on the mood he's in, it depends on whether or not he likes to pop into the channel. So we'll see how that goes. Hey, Katrina, welcome in. All right. Brandon says he feels special. He's in the Nightbot system. He is special. Brian's in my Nightbot system. There's a lot of you in the Nightbot system. We're actually trying to switch over to a different system. So I hope to have that working in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll have some better things going on. Hey, Sally, welcome in. All right, I think I'm caught up. Nikki says they are called gal nippers or mosquito hawks, and that they prey on mosquitoes. That's about the truth. I'm telling you. I used to have to go out to Poplar Bluff, Missouri for work. And I've been all around. There was another area that we had to go to outside of Poplar Bluff, and I can't never remember the name of that town. And I've been to Cape Girardeau and all that. But man, you get down in that area, the bugs are just huge. I mean, crazy. Hey, Ingrid, welcome in. Thanks for being here. So, what have I been up to this week? I did get all the pieces put together for my patriotic quilt. So I've got all of these done. I am working, I just got all of these cut and squared up. So I'm going to, I did these with 9.5-inch squares. And so everything came out to 9.5-inch squares. I still need to cut the jump stitches and some of that off. I need to put the sashing on. I haven't made up my mind what I want to do for sashing. I don't think I want to do white between the blocks. I don't think that's what I want. I definitely don't want black, but I don't think I want red. So I think I may do a blue sashing in between, but we'll see. But the plan is to get these cleaned up in that to actually do a recording to show how I trim all these, how I put those together, then how we do the big panel, and once the panel's done, how we put a false back on it with the loops and that, so you can hang it somewhere. So we will get that done and have that happening sometime soon. So that will be fun as always. I think so. How crazy is that? Oh, now see what happened. All right. What else is going on? So that's one of the things we're working on. Oh, your granddaughter would love to shop with Grandpa for value. Yes, I know she would. She's never gotten to, is what's funny, because we usually get there early Saturday, and typically they don't come in until Saturday night. So we usually go on Saturday while we're waiting on the kids to get there. So this year, we're actually taking the red eye, so we'll be there bright and early Saturday, but we rented a room by the hour to kind of go chill in. So I just don't know what we'll end up doing. But that's one of the things we're working on is the patriotic. If you all remember, I started this on the live on Thursday. I had never done a cake mix. This is cake mix recipe number 5. It's by Moda, right? And so I went through, you have to typically use a solid and you use a layer cake to go with it. I did black on, and now I don't have the layer cake here that I used, but I don't mind the way this turned out. But now I've got to go in and I will tell you, this is just entirely too much work. I will absolutely never do another one of these. So I have gotten all of this done, all the pieces. So I don't know if you all have done one or not. Um, I'm not recommending them because I absolutely did not enjoy this. So you take and lay your fabric, your layer cake down. You put the solid fabric either on the top or the bottom, which put right sides together. They recommend that the dark color be on top. And so since I was using black, black went on top, I think. Sorry, they recommend light color be on top. So I had to put the pretty fabric on top and put all the blacks on the bottom, which was fine. I did that, and then you have to pin these before you go and sew, and that's just to keep the paper from shifting on you while you're trying to sew down. Once you go through and do all the sewing, then you have to go back and cut every one of these out. So you unpin it, then you cut all of these out. Now I've got a whole stack still to go through. Now, once that's done, then you got to take it over to the ironing board. You have to iron every piece. Then you have to go back and what else do you do? Take the paper off, which is where the half square triangles are ready for. Then sort everything, and then you're ready to start making. It's just way, way, way too much work. I am never putting myself through this again. I don't care how beautiful the quilt turns out. It was just way more work than I anticipated, and definitely not in my forte moving forward. So we shall see. So I'd be curious if you all have done either a cake, they call it a cake mix recipe, or if you use a charm pack, they call it a cupcake recipe. I'd be curious if you all have done those. If you liked it, great. If you didn't, and if you've not done one, I would not recommend it, but that's just me. Sweet Granny says your granddaughter would love to shop with you. I know, right? She's never had the opportunity, and I don't know that they've ever actually been in a quilt store, because usually when we're there on the weekends and that to visit, um, we're there to visit. We don't get to go that often, and then so I don't even think about going into town with them to do something like that. So definitely would like to. I think it would be fun, but I have to see what mood my son-in-law is in, and what mood my daughter is in. So I never know what they're going to think. Plus, this year we're staying in North Myrtle Beach, and so the quilt shop that I like to go to, in fact, the only one I've been to at the beach, is down on the other side. So it's a good 30-minute drive back into Myrtle Beach. Um, Landis says, Ingrid, did Shannon drop off the face of the earth? I wondered the same thing. I've actually sent her 2 emails and never got a response. Judy says, I saw them but never tried and I won't. It's a lot of work. I mean, because now I've got all these half square triangles, so I'm curious. So now I've got to trim all the dog ears. So when you all trim dog ears, do you just quickly go through and use your scissors and snip them? Or are you more precision, like probably Brendan is, and lay your ruler down and use your rotary cutter? Because I've really debated what I want to do with these. Normally in the past, I've always done it with my rotary cutter, but I don't know that I have the patience. I think I just want to. I actually got this big tub out to put everything in the tub, knowing that it's probably going in the going over on this bookshelf for a while, but we'll see. Um, Zaza says, I'm not a fan of paper piecing or FPP, but I do love English paper piecing, which I have really not done either. Jen says, since you didn't enjoy the cake mix papers and you said you had a lot, put them in your shop or make them a giveaway. I think that's what I'm going to do. Definitely going to get them online. I think I have 3 or 4 of them, but so not a ton, and they were all gifts basically. Is what's funny. So, but I probably would have bought them because I keep thinking I want to get into doing more of the paper piecing stuff. But this has definitely made me gun shy. I will tell you. All right, let me set those over. Jody says I like North Myrtle. I do too. It's completely different. The first couple of years we went, we stayed down in Surfside, which is just down on the other side of Myrtle Beach, which really keeps you out of all the crazy. And but Surfside's gotten so expensive that it's actually much more reasonable to stay in North Myrtle. And a lot of North Myrtle is very new. It's kind of was the afterthought, or grew up after Myrtle Beach filled up so much. So you can actually get some really good buys up at North Myrtle. There she goes. See, Tasha says, I snip with scissors. I'm confident of the right size or close enough size. Amen. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I just want to get this done, and I don't think I have the patience to sit and do it that way. And at the end of the day, it's not going to make or break the quilt, right? So I can always fudge in just a little bit. Natasha says EPP is quickly becoming one of my favorite sewings. I don't know. I've never done EPP, and what I think everything that I have is FPP. So we'll see. But I don't know. I think for what this is, to be such straight, simple pieces, it just seems like a lot of work to get the half square triangles. It's like it's just different. Also says Brendan, it's a different mindset to machine sewing. Yeah, see, I'm not. I paid a lot of money for my machine. I play with my machines. Jody says Surfside's more fun for the kids. It's closer to the action. Yeah, see, they're still young enough. They don't need lots of action. We this year the condo for the first time. We've always rented a house, but we're actually staying in a high-rise condo, and it has a lazy river, which is great. Has a pool, and it is actually oceanfront. So we have actually never stayed oceanfront before. So we're pretty psyched about that. I'm just psyched to be off work for what is it, 9 days? Because I can tell you I'm just over my job right now. Oh, Brian says, absolutely, I want to print some designs from EQ8. Yeah, I need to play with my EQ8 more. I have EQ8, but Lord, I have everything. I bought the new AccuQuilt designware too. and I have AccuQuiltable is what that's called. And I have played with it a little bit because what's cool is with their software, which EQ8 has the upgrades that you can buy to do AccuQuilt as well. But with the AccuQuiltable, you can just tell it what dies and everything you own. So then when you start building out patterns, it knows and can match up for you. Jody goes, John, I don't think you'll like EPP. It doesn't sound like I'm going to. Mm-mm. Hey, Susan, welcome in. I think I missed you earlier. Did not mean to. So, anyways, I'm gonna sit here and rip a little bit tonight to get this part of the project done. What else has John been working on? John's been working on. Oh, I got the totes. So I had the one Christmas tote. I finally got the lining for it. I like to use the Pellon 987 because I think it's got a nice kind of medium weight. I don't like the soft and stable. I just think it makes your totes bulky. So I do have, in fact, I have like a whole bundle of it, but I just don't like it as well. I ended up finding this Pellon and I really like it. So I have it pressed, but I need to do the quilting on it, and then I need to work on the lining. But that tote will come together pretty quick, and it's a Christmas gift, so I just want to get that done. I still need to get my partner to work on the long arm. We did not do any long arming this weekend, and now I've got a stack, and it's like, but these are gifts, so it's not like some of it is fine that we don't ever get to because of because they just go in a drawer or on the Etsy site or something for the time being. But I've got the two quilts of valor I've got to get done. I've got to get, I think there's 3 Christmas gifts that are sitting over there that I need to get done. So I have time to put the binding on and that. And yes, I know it's only June. Yes, I know it's about 6 months away, but I also know just how long things take sometimes because I've got three, one, two, three, sitting there that the binding and everything's ready, and yet I haven't actually stopped to put the binding on. So we'll see how that goes. And so, but I do need to finish the Quilts of Valor. Pat's waiting on those. I know she said she needed those by August, so we'll probably have to do that as soon as we get back from vacation because I doubt they'll get finished before we go. And that's okay too. Come on, John. What you do? See? All right. What else? Oh, Susan goes, I love the quilt behind you with the note. Thank you very much. That's why I got it. I love that. It's so mending. Sewing Mends the Soul. It is by Bernadex, I believe. And so, actually, Kathy from my quilting retreat, I had missed it and had not seen it come out. And so she emailed me one day and she goes, by the way, did you see this? Because she knows I'm a gnome guy to begin with. And I was like, no, I didn't. And thank you very much because now I have to go buy the dumb thing. And I did. And then I couldn't stand it. So I had to hurry and get it done so I could have it hanging behind me because I do like my gnomes. And then, of course, if you watched the unboxing the other day, you know I just bought another one for Christmas with the intent that the Christmas one will hang here during lives and that as well. So, gotta have it. Oh, Zaza, you cracked me up. She goes, "You're not allowed to say the C word before July." Are you kidding me? In this house, we actually have Hallmark Christmas movies playing in 2 rooms today. So, so depending on what room you walk in, either the Hallmark channel's going or the YouTube channel's going. But since I can only stream to 3 TVs, any one, I we tend to split our times up. Depends on what room. And then it's funny because I watch my partner, and all of a sudden he's engrossed in this Hallmark movie, and he's like, "Have you seen this one?" And I'm like, "Really? You still ask me that?" But it's cute. It's adorable. But yes, I've seen it. But and he's like, "Well, now I've watched too much. I got to see how it ends." I'm like, okay, whatever, dude. What I don't hear is him in there making dinner that we're supposed to have soon. So we'll see what happens tonight. What else is going on? Thanks, Joy. I love my vintage sewing machines. I had really thought about taking the featherweight to the beach this year because I really think my granddaughter and that would think that was so cool. But I just haven't. I haven't had it out, so not only do I know it needs service and needs oil and needs all that, I haven't had it out to even play with it. I have never sewn the first thing on it. Sadly, Barney over here, I've only sewn once on, and I know it runs great because Carl broke it down all the way, yeah, and rebuilt the thing completely up. And now I feel bad that I haven't jumped over on it. But it's been so busy with so many different projects and different directions. It's like I don't have time just to go one way or the other sometime. Ryan says, just like finding money in a coat pocket, you forgot about Sally. Hey, Sally, welcome in. Thanks for being here. I Oh, so I hope to do a tour soon of the new design studio. I keep telling you all I'm going to do that. I thought about that today. I am going to try to get something recorded and get that posted. What made me think of that is I know you all will be surprised, but the last Tula Pink order that came in really kind of just pushed things over the top. So I've went from 3 drawers of Tula Pink to now I needed to start a fourth one. And I thought, this is silly. What I really need to do is just get a dedicated bookshelf for Tula and get the stuff out of the drawer. And so I did today. And so all of my Tula Pink now is displayed nicely in the guest bedroom. I did not realize how many layer cakes, charm packs. I actually only have one Tula jelly roll, so that wasn't so crazy. But I did get all of that out and get started with that, and had no idea, guys. Like, oh my gosh, guys, I just can't believe um, how much is there. It's really just. And then I thought, but the cool thing is, the bookshelf doesn't look like overwhelmed. So there's actually room now on the bookshelf. So I could actually buy more Tula because the bookshelf doesn't look so full. But then I thought if you actually picked up each bundle, I think I bet you I have 10 or 15 fat quarter bundles, and some of them are the big bundles. And I thought if you started adding up the cost of each one of those, I might put myself into shock. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes moving forward. Susan says, I love my featherweight sewing machines. I've got 4. I would like to. I do like the vintage sewing machines. It's funny. I have finally fell in love with Jukis, and I tend to use my Juki, and I do bounce back between Jake or Hercules, but they're my 2 go-to. But I don't know. There's something nostalgic about having some of the singers. I just like having the old singers. I don't know if you've seen the history of Singer on it's on YouTube, and it's only like 55 minutes or so, but it talks about the rise and fall and some of the things that Singer did that was really pretty cutting edge back in the day. And so it's worth watching that documentary if you haven't, but it just makes me want more singers. And I think partly, right, because I grew up for years, mom had a singer. And then I remember it was a big deal because she upgraded and went to the Sears store and got her a Lady Kenmore. And, I remember when Lady Kenmore was a big deal, right? That if you got something with the Kenmore name on it, you thought you were doing something. It's just so sad to think, like, for all intents purposes, right? Singer is not Singer anymore. Sears is gone. Kmart's gone. Montgomery Ward's is gone. It's like, wow, it's just amazing what's no longer around. Susan says, I found most of my featherweights at estate sales, flea markets, and garage sales. That's my plan to do a better job. The problem is around here, there's enough people that know and look for those. But I do think when we get moved out in a little bit different area, because my partner, when it comes to mechanical stuff, he can do anything mechanical. He does not like dealing with Hercules because he's electronic, and he's smart enough he could figure it out. But it's just, the electronic machines become more temperamental. But he doesn't mind jumping into the mechanical ones at all. All right, let's see what else. Brian goes, the shelf is much easier to pillage. I do plan to show you all the shelf. So I actually had thought I would take a picture, to at least post a picture tonight, but I didn't get to it. Um, we were working on some other things, and he was trying to get something else done for me, and then I was trying to do this, and it's like, oh my gosh, because I really just want. I have not enjoyed this quilt at all, but like at the same time, I just want to get it done, and I think at this point, I just want to get those pressed and get the paper torn off, and just kind of stack everything and then set it aside. I don't even know if that I want to trim the dog ears right now, but I just want to kind of have it ready so then I can start laying it out and playing with it. But um, again, it's absolutely not going to be one of my favorites, I can tell you. Um, Raven goes, oh, there's Raven. I saw Raven earlier on another channel today. She says, don't add up the price for what you have. I started to and stopped after the fifth bolt. Right? Tell you what, and see, that's worse because see, I do buy enough fabric just for the um, for our Etsy store and that. And it's funny because I had to go over to a quilt store yesterday because Ray had promised to give me some quilt patterns that we can give away on the channel. And he asked me if I wanted to drive into Phoenix and pick them up. I'm like, no, can't you just route them out here to the store since you work at the store? So he did, but they ended up not making the truck yesterday. So I didn't realize that, or Friday. So when we went to get them, they haven't arrived out here. So we'll be giving some of those away next week and talking about that pattern even a little bit more. But um, my partner he was so adorable going in, right? Because he says, he said, we're going in just to pick up the pattern, right? And I just smiled and he goes, I was just kidding. I was just kidding. But actually, I ended up not buying anything. It wasn't a big sales weekend, anyways. And I did need what did I? Oh, I did want to talk to them about renting some machines for the quilting retreat and a couple of things. So we did talk about that a little bit. And she's going to get me some prices. But beyond that, I actually didn't buy anything yesterday. And partly it's just because I've been dealing with so much um, fabrics that I've got like stuff stacked everywhere. I told him, I said, it's getting to the point where it's starting to almost give me like a panic attack because I have so much everywhere. Like I've got a bar stool bench basically. Actually, I bought it from Harbor Freight because I thought I would like sewing on it, and I didn't. Has no padding, even though you would think I have enough padding back there. But um, anyways, so that's where a lot of the quilt tops are that he needs to. It's just like stuff is stacked everywhere. Everywhere I look, there's another stack. I told him, I said, I will be so glad when we can build our house and get my design studio, and I will have space to just move out. I mean, just throw things any which way I want. Um, Oh, Zaza said there's a great program about the Singer Factory in Scotland. I'll have to look for that because obviously here in the U.S., right, they talked about New Jersey, the original headquarters, and all that kind of stuff. And um, but I would like to see that. I enjoy learning that history. Funny, as a kid, I couldn't stand it. Now, as an adult, I do enjoy and appreciate some of that history. Judy says, Jordy, if we ever make it to John's house, Tula would be easier to grab as we run. He has them all stacked for us. I do, and they look so nice and pretty. It's just amazing. The only way you all would get to see it is if you come to QuiltCon 2028. So see, there's an opportunity. I'm hoping that if Mr. Quilter saves his pennies, maybe he can come to QuiltCon 2028. How awesome would that be? Brendan says, I haven't watched the Singer doc yet, but I watched the Bernina one, and it looks like the channel might have videos on a few of the other. But yeah, so I did it. So it's interesting since I watched the Singer one, had kept popping up in my feed, um, I guess. And so since I watched that, the Bernina one popped up the other day in the feed, and I turned it on, but I didn't really get to watch it because they were talking about the hotel and different things associated with Bernina. So I would definitely like to go in and watch that. Landa says, two of mine were gifts from family members of a quilt buddy who has passed. Oh, so they are extra special. I bet they are. You know, I really, um, interesting enough, you know, like I would have enjoyed having, like my mother's machine and that. But mom actually sewed on, like I said, a Lady Kenmore. And actually, the last machine she got was not the best machine. So it was not, and it wasn't the machine like I kind of grew up with her sewing on and that. And mom didn't have any vintage machines that I know of. My grandmother obviously did, but if it wasn't nailed down, my sister would have taken it. So she got everything. So that's neither here nor there. Nikki says, I have tubs of fabrics. I would hate to see how much I've spent on it. There are worse things I could buy. Yeah, at least it doesn't go bad. I mean, I probably have easy, easily, I probably have 200 quilt kits. I may have more than that, but I know I probably have at least 200 because I know at one point I counted and I had like 35 Halloween, but I think I had like 50 Christmas. So I probably easily have 200 quilt kits. And you know what? They're sitting there. And interesting enough, I've got like five, I think, are Tula. Because when I started taking them out of the drawer today, I was like, oh wow, I didn't even know I had that kit. Oh wow, I didn't even know I had that fabric. Um, Russ got me a couple of years ago on Cary, Cary Quilt Company or whatever over in Cary, North Carolina. Must have been a couple of years ago when he went to QuiltCon, I'm assuming. And he had bought a pride flag, but it was the pride flag along with the um, oh my gosh, bisexual flag. I think I don't know. It had the pink and the it had all the different in it, right? So it wasn't just the rainbow flag. It had the bear and the yellow and pink and all the different colors. I really liked it. I bought the kit. I saw it today, and I thought, you know what? For 2 years, you've been saying you're going to get that done, but I have yet to get to that one. Because for Pride Month, it really would have been nice to be able to swap out this gnome quilt and had something Pride back there, at least for the month. So it looks like we were celebrating it a little bit more, but we didn't. And that's okay. It's, you know, everything is all good. Y'all crack me up. Jody says he's so accommodating. Y'all killing me. Um, Brandon says I had an order from Fat Quarter Shop this morning. Struggled to find somewhere to put it. Yeah, I heard you talking about that, but I also heard that you talked about the other day that you have a spare bedroom. So at some point, your partner's gonna have to just understand that there's a, and especially for you, right? I would think for being overseas in that, and when you find the right deals in that, you've kind of got to latch on to some of that when it's available because by the time you pay shipping and everything else, you definitely have to get it at the right price to even make quilting affordable. And that's not to say you can't buy fabric and things right there too, but I can't imagine. Mm. Susan says there's not many people that work on vending machines, so hubby taught himself. Yeah, that's what I know. That's what my partner would end up doing. I know there is a husband in the quilt club that does work on featherweight specifically, and I've heard he's very reasonable. I think he got stuck doing it probably for his wife, and then now it's just a little side business. And you know, I think sometimes he has four to work on, and maybe for 4 months he has none. So I don't think he's, you know, like trying to make his retirement off of it. But I thought I need to probably just take it to him and get him to clean it, oil it, get it together. Because I can tell you, the lady that had it, it looks brand new. Because that's just the way she was. So I'm sure at some point she had had it serviced and cleaned and all that, but I don't think she sewed on it. So, and we actually have a featherweight club, special interest group. And again, if I was retired, I could go to it, but since they only meet on during the week, it's not an option I have right now. See, Zaza says cheaper than therapy. Amen, sister. Nikki goes, we have a lot of estate sales here, but if sewing machines are mentioned, then the Mennonites swoop in. Killing me. Susan says we all love Tula Pink fabrics. I don't know what it is. Oh, Mona says I don't call them dog ears. I call them pig's ears. Interesting. I grew up with pigtails. I remember hearing pigtails. Okay. It drives me nuts. All right, let's get you in the mortgage. All right. Hey, Patty, welcome in. Thanks for being here. There, Anita Moore doesn't let me see the total cost of the cart, though. Tell you what, it is scary. It just that's why I had to get off like Missouri Star Quilt. I don't get their emails anymore. I don't get them from Fat Quarter Shop. I stopped almost all of them because it was um, just too impulsive. And then every so often, like Russell text me and say, "Did you see that Missouri Star is basically giving away a Tula?" Um, that's probably how I ended up with some of the charm packs in it that I have in there. And and when they're the right price, you can't help but to jump online and buy them. So I do that. But now that I've got Pink Door coming on a regular basis with all the new ones, and then I've got the Island Quilter that I'm using to, I've actually got, I realized today, some older Tula that I didn't even realize I had. The one I'm jealous of is Russ and some of the collection he was able to get for such a good price on his last trip. And in fact, I actually looked them up to see if they ship, which they don't. And but they do have one in Alexandria, Virginia. But the problem is, even when I get to Virginia, I don't usually get that far up north. But we could always fly in through Reagan Airport to drive down, which might actually be cheaper for us. And then with the money I saved by booking a more economic flight, then I would have money to stop at the quilt store and just check things out. So just never know. All right. Nikki says, Joya, they load up the green or black passenger vans that hit all the sales. Yeah, see, that just it's just crazy, right? But you've got to, when you know someone's having a big sale, you do want to get out there and get it. Susan says, I found quilt quality fabrics at thrift stores, Robert Kaufman, and that, just to name a few, I thought really cheap. Yeah, see, the problem is we have so many quilters and all that in this area. Let me tell you, it's hard to beat these women. I mean, they're checking out everything, and I don't blame them, right? Most of them are on a fixed income, that kind of stuff. And then by the time we work during the day, it's hard for us to even try to compete to get to some of the stuff, but that's okay. Oh, look at Brendan. Yes. You figure out how to get here in 28. We could figure out a lot of opportunities. We'd have a good time. Because you better get busy selling. Yeah, I think some of those are definitely going to be projects that I work on at retirement because And I've even thought now, since we're talking about moving and packing and all that, I'm like, okay, do I end up just putting on a big sale and trying to sell out a bunch of this stuff to, so I don't even have to pack it and take it? But I'm like, I bought it because I like it and because I want it. And then when I retire is actually when I should have time to get to it more. And I did talk to the realtor finally this weekend. So we've talked a couple of times. I'm waiting for him to send me some property to look at because we are planning to go down over July 4th to look and scope out and see what we can do. Um, I found one property that I like that's on 10 and a half acres. Um, and the only thing is, I think to get to it is a dirt road. And from what my partner could see, it's several miles down that dirt road. So I don't know. The realtor I talked to is actually an off-grid realtor, and he does mostly off-grid stuff in that. And he was talking, and I was like, no, see, I'm a boy of luxury at the end of the day. Um, I'm going to need to have electricity and running water and all that. And he's like, you do realize now, with the solar and the way it is now, especially here in Arizona, that you can probably get as much power that you would need to even run my studio and everything else, probably for about $15,000. And so it did perk my ears up. We are going to look at a couple of places down there that would be considered more off grid, because it really would be nice to just make an investment now and not have to pay utilities the rest of my life, especially the utility that we have in this state. The one that I have to use is a for profit, and they are very much for profit, and they definitely take every opportunity they can to make sure that their stockholders and um, people are well reimbursed. So they are definitely wanting to compete with California prices and our little utility commission or whatever that are, protect us and keep us, um, make sure the prices are fair and set. For some reason, they just their their idea and my idea is completely different. I know they just asked for a 14% increase. I think they got an 8% last year. I think they got 12% the year before. So it's like every year they're asking for double digit increases. That just doesn't feel right. Um, Susan go, that's a lot of quilt kits. It is. It's really sad. I bet you I bought 10 easily at QuiltCon. That's why I quit going to some of those things. Um, Susan goes, I like the stitch quality. I know a couple of the ladies, and that's all they sew on is featherweights and those machines, and that's why they just like the quality. They like the look, like they're like, you just can't compare it. Uh, I think I just need to get used to it. Brian says, John, once you move the kits from the shelves that used to be behind you, Jordy couldn't track them anymore. It's just because we keep rearranging. I know you all got to go, is this guy ever going to get settled on anything? And that's because we just kept moving from room to room and back and forth. And it's all good. Sally goes, I just got a Minky Quilt kit, the yellow brick road pattern the other day. Too hot now for it. So it's going to be a fall project. Yes, I would think so. Nikki says Jefferson City had the first Pride Fest. I was shocked they had one. Columbia, Missouri, and KC have had BIC in the past, but not Jefferson City. Interesting enough, a lot of towns are not having Pride festivals this year. A lot of them don't have the money. The corporate sponsors had really backed out over the past 2 years, so the funding's not there like it used to be. The support obviously is not there like it used to be. We don't have ours in Phoenix until October. So even though June is recognized as Pride Month, it's entirely too hot here usually. So we do our Pride event and that in October. I have walked in it because the company I work for is a proponent, is a good supporter. They actually buy shirts for us and give us, I think last 2 years ago when I did it, they gave us some towels that we could toss and give away in that to the people at the parade. And so they're nice to work for an organization that's proactive like that. Brendan says shipping cost to New Zealand is horrendous, but no other choice as we don't seem to get all the fabric lines locally. Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, that's why when we do giveaways and that, I've got to be careful. You know, people go, well, you do a lot of De La Rosa, and I was like, well, I do it because it's easy to ship, and I can still ship that overseas without an issue. I know some of the creators, when they do giveaways, they actually do US only or US and Canada only. And then if you win overseas, then you get to do, you get like a $10 Amazon card in that. And we've tried that a couple of times too. Oh, Susan says the lady from so and so always gets beautiful fabrics from her country, and that's Australia. Brendan said, weirdly, the channel name seems to have changed. The docos seem to be on the channel again. Tracy Fisher Secrets, but I'm sure it was called something else. Yeah, and who was I watching? Oh, yesterday I watched Cut Up and Sew in Florida, and Pat was there, so that was fun. That's a fun group here in the US. If you haven't checked them out, I actually did purchase their Christmas Advent box this year because of Pat. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, Brandon says I can get stuff from Australia, but they still don't have the same range that the US does. How crazy. Nikki says Jenny Doan, Missouri Star Quilt has a featherweight camping group. I don't have a featherweight. Oh my God. Well, if you don't have a featherweight, we just have to work on correcting that for you. Brendan says, have you ever tried a freight forwarder from the US to you, or did you pay the shipping the stores arranged? Oh, interesting. Yeah, see, it must be so different living across the pond, right? And what you all have to think about and deal with and all of that. I can't imagine, right? And again, I'm so spoiled, right? Because we have so many shops right here, so that makes it even worse. Ryan says they need the Mary Poppins, excuse me, Mary Poppins bag, so it's endless. I did like Mary Poppins bag. I even like both versions of Mary Poppins. I like the remake, if you want to call it that, or part two. And but you know, it's always hard to beat. Dick Van Dyke, right? And of course, he was in that, so I love Dick Van Dyke. I think he's probably one of the old stables for me. I just him and Jessica. Is it Jessica Lang? She played Jessica Fletcher. Um, Always loved her, and you know, and one of my favorite Disney movie growing up was Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Interesting enough, because look, I sit here for this hour and got this whole pile done, and yet it's like not even made a dent in the pile that's still over here that needs to be done. And I will tell you, this black Moda is we're not friends because it's been everywhere, and I can tell because I used a layer cake, right? That John did not use his magic. Um, you know, like best pressed. The brand I use is Magic, and I'm used to having that sizing or starch or whatever in my fabrics, and I am just covered in little black dust. This just seemed very evasive for some reason. So, but like I said, we'll get it done. What else, guys? Nikki just broke it. Go away. All right. Mona says she takes her featherweight camping, and I love the get up and setup that Miss Mona has. She's got a nice setup for toting things around. Nikki says she has a 404, so I have the 301, and of course I have a featherweight, but I haven't seen the 401. I get it out of the table. It's in to get the I get it to the Mennonites to get a tune-up. I didn't realize they were so. I guess they would be big into sewing, right? Nikki says Jack hates garage sales. I think I bought cool stuff. He says it's trash. It's not fair. I mean, we just see the value in things differently sometimes, right? Oh, Nikki says I've yet to see the remake. Oh, you need to see it because what's her name was in it. She did a really nice job. They did a good job honoring and I think keeping with the story, which is kind of unusual. Um, and I think Dick Van Dyke played the bank president in this one, so it was nice to see him kind of get his cameo role and that back in it. I don't. Um, Raven says I love bed knobs and broomsticks. Yeah, I don't know what it was about that movie growing up. There was two movies growing up, and my favorite Disney was Bed Knobs and Broomsticks for some reason, and then I couldn't wait for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang to come on. I loved Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So interesting enough, it's always Dick Van Dyke played in so many of those movies. He had such a interesting career when you think back and think about what all he did and that kind of stuff. All right, let's. I'm making a huge mess here with the papers. So let me throw these away. I do have a couple of patterns I'm going to give away tonight. So let's shift over. Let's get that over that way. Let's jump over to this camera if things will wake up because they've been asleep for the last hour. All right, there I is. What are we giving away, John? We are giving away. I actually went and grabbed these because they kind of reminded me of Pride Month. I thought it was kind of cool. So it is a new Villa Rosa pattern. It is by Creative Solutions, which is a new name for me at Villa Rosa. So I'm not sure how many patterns. I have not done this yet, but it is one of their 2026 patterns, and it is called Wanderlust. And I thought it was a really cool pattern. And I thought, well, that's kind of rainbow-ish, so that makes sense to give away the month of June. So let me jump over to Nightbot real quick and get Nightbot set up for giveaways. Keyword. All right, viewers, regular moderators, Twitch. Let's do exclamation point. Let's just do Villa tonight. Villa. And if you put exclamation point in Villa, we'll give 2 patterns away tonight and get ready to start our weekend. I hate this time of the evening. He's in there making dinner. We've got all that to work with. And then, oh my goodness, then I got to look at getting ready for work. I sure don't want to go back to work this week, but it is what it is. John, if you try a paint pen with water in it on the seams, that's supposed to help. Actually, Zazan, what I've been using is the acorn pen, right? And so I got a couple of these a couple of years ago, and I really do like when I press open the seams, but I did not know the trick about the paint pen. So I will look at doing that. Nikki says Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory were some of my favorites. Yeah, I get that. I remember those. Fox and the Hound, Bambi were the favorites. Bambi was always so sad to me. I was a very sensitive child. Who else? Cool pattern. I'm late but here. Hey Becky, welcome in. Thanks for jumping in for at least a little bit. Better late than not at all. But Becky always watches the replay, so it doesn't matter. Lambda says, I love the acorn pen. I do too. I got really hooked on them and I ended up buying a gallon, which, by the way, is next to impossible to fill these little pens with, but it's crazy. All right, let's choose a first winner. So exclamation point Villa gets you registered, and our first winner tonight is Landa. Congrats, Landa. You won a copy of the Wanderlust Villa Rosa pattern, and I will get that in the mail. Just send me a email with your address, John, John, at GuysCraft2. It should be scrolling hopefully across the bottom of your screen, and we will get that in the mail to you this week. And then let's grab one more. Oh, Brian says, where did you get that press pen? It's actually um, a lady that I met at Stitch in Heaven does them. And this one is actually made with K Facet, if you noticed, fabric. And that's probably what you noticed. And so these were custom made. And I'll have to look up her number. This one's Tula. Um, and so I'll have to look it up, look her name up, but she does have an Etsy store. And just I was really happy I ended up buying them because I really do like my acorn pins, and then just having those made it even better. All right, let's jump in one more time. And Jen is our other winner tonight. So Landa and Jen are our winners tonight. If you send me your email over, we will get you we will get those out in the mail to you this week. So, guys, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you so much being part of my Sunday afternoon. I hope your week goes well. I'm not anxious to get started, but the sooner I get started, I've only got 10 days, and then I am on a plane to the East Coast, and I am very, very excited about that. So, I hope you have an amazing week. And as always, until next time, happy crafting.